people these days have careers that span a lifetime. Stan Atkinson is one of the few, celebrating 46 glorious years as a television news anchor.
How many repeating offenders would you say there are here in Sacramento, for instance?
Cuban exiles invaded this and 3 other beaches here on the Bay of Pigs.
That's Serb territory that way, Bosnian this way.
Tonight, we recap the career of a man who has not only won the hearts of his viewers, but also the respect and admiration of the community he lives in and so obviously loves. From his sometimes death-defying travels overseas,
Thai-Cambodian frontier,
to back here at home, covering people you count on.
The TLC Soup Kitchen feeds people at the Robinson Center in Del Paso Heights every Friday.
We look at Stan, the longtime community volunteer. And we peek at those outtakes he'd probably rather forget.
Health hazard. Excuse me.
But are all part of the wacky world of TV news.
Listen, even I can do this, you know? I mean, there's nothing to it.
A look back at the stellar career of veteran news anchor Stan Atkinson, and a look ahead at what's next.
Join the ranks of retirement. I've tried it for a while. If you don't like it, you can always go into governor or mayor, something like that.
Good evening, and thanks for joining us. I'm Jennifer Whitney.
And I'm embarrassed. And being nailed. I'm Stan Atkinson.
Oh, this is just the beginning. We have a whole hour of fun ahead. And as you know, we're here tonight to celebrate your career and also say farewell as you venture on into a well-deserved life of retirement.
You remember what my orders were about this last week towards retirement, that there would be no fuss. You remember that?
Oh, and we listened to them really well, too.
Yeah, I can tell. But I am honored. This is a very special time in my life. I've been honored to be my friend's partner here for the last 5 years, and in fact, all of those I've worked with here, John and Dave, and especially all the people you don't see. I'm going to miss you all terribly. I just thank God I'm staying in Sacramento so I can come back and hang out. And I'm going to miss all of you. You have been so kind to me for so many years.
And there have been so many years. We're going to take a few minutes now to look back at the 46 years and the beginning of the career of news anchor, your friend and mine, Stan.
Now, would you buy an ear of corn from this guy? How about a side of beef? No, I don't think so. Or a little bit of sausage. And then, of course, there was Hostess Cinnamon Dainties. Believe it or not, that was my first sponsor in news. Hostess Cinnamon Dainties. I did 5 minutes of news at 11 o'clock every night following.
Hostess Cinnamon Dainties. They helped launch his career back in 1955.
I remember Ewing C. Kelly, the old man, the man who built Channel 3, saying he wanted a hard-hitting, exciting action news show. And so immediately he put Stan on the Hostess Cinnamon Dainty report.
I was a victim of those early days.
And he was peddling something called Hostess Cinnamon Dainties. Got him? Get him.
Along with doing the news, I also had to do commercials from time to time.
And Stan hated Cinnamon Dainties.
It's a career that spanned an incredible 46 years. Highlights? Well, there are too many to mention them all, but let's go back to 1961 for a moment.
So I won this Lasker Award for medical journalism, and went to New York to pick up the award, and Lyndon Johnson, vice president then, presented the awards. He asked the 4 award winners to go on a trip. He was about to leave on to go around the world, a fact-finding trip for President Kennedy. We spent most of our time in Saigon, in Vietnam.
For Stan, that was just the beginning of a lifelong journey.
I wanted to bring the stories of what was going on around the world that was of pressing and urgent need for us to understand to Americans so they could understand them firsthand.
Stan has done just that, kept his viewers educated about the world, sometimes taking chances, going places few other reporters would dare to even think about.
Thai-Cambodian frontier.
But for Stan, it was all in a day's work, a job he has come to live and breathe and always love.
I was always interested in news from the time I was a kid. and would hang around radio stations. News was always something I knew I wanted to do, and there was never any turning back from that.
You know, there's just nothing more satisfying than developing an idea for a story, writing it, filming it, editing it, then being able to be the one to go out there and tell people about it.
In the middle of my career, because I'd started so young, I think, I had questions about whether maybe I was barking up the wrong tree, that I should try something else, and I did, business, and it wasn't successful. And after that experience, I came back to news realizing this is what, first of all, where I should be, and second of all, really what in my heart and soul is what I want to do for the rest of my life. And my working life, at least, and it worked out that way.
Traveling has been a big part of your career. I can see it was probably a passion from the very beginning.
It was. It was what meant the most about my career to me personally and professionally. I guess there was 30 or more trips, assignments overseas, and some of them were very lively.
Oh, yes. And I know from seeing the reports that we've done over the past few weeks that some of them were very risky as well, even really life-threatening. And that didn't stop you, though, from going after the big story.
From Southeast Asia to Central America to Afghanistan and Somalia, as a reporter, Stan Atkinson truly has been on the front lines. For years, he's been documenting world events and bringing those reports home to viewers.
How many more families are going to have to mourn their loved ones in this seemingly endless and windless war? The only clearly identifiable enemy here is the Vietnamese army, and it's out there, 5 or 10 miles away from this border camp.
It all looks so deceivingly placid, but at any moment the streets of Mogadishu can turn into mean streets.
On all the assignments I've done, I've always taken a camera and shot my own collection of photographs, and I'll shoot 300 or 400 and maybe call out the best 200, and then come home, put them in books and save them. And I've got, you know, a still library, essentially, of all of the assignments that I've done. This is the recent past, and this is Bosnia in 1996, just 3 years ago.
From his more recent travels overseas to back in the 50s when TV was in its infancy, Stan has always pushed hard to produce long-format, in-depth television, TV with meaning. As one of the very first news anchors in this market, Stan is a pioneer.
This was the first film documentary ever done in the Sacramento television market, and it was an inordinate process to get it done in those days because television stations just didn't have the means to slickly put together a long piece of film. You know,
on the home front, his reports were every bit as meaningful and urgent as the ones overseas.
We got inside the DeWitt State Mental Hospital in Auburn, and at the time, the State Department of Mental Health was trying to make some major changes. At DeWitt, there were snake pit circumstances, as the film showed. But the process of simply making the film, of shooting it, of their knowing it was going to go on the air, the legislature's understanding of that helped immediately to move people around and create better wards and better living situations. I personally was terribly moved and struck by what I saw. You have to understand, in those days, television's cameras had not pried into the darkest corners of our nation's daily processes as much as they have today.
But Stan's cameras were there. This is an excerpt from another early documentary of Stan's, probing into life on Skid Row.
While he's been asleep, Roy Bailey has, in the jargon of Skid Row, been wrapped in a tokay blanket, an unseen covering spun out of the fabric of alcohol, providing the warmth needed on a cold night. And during the daylight hours, Roy Bailey's tokay blanket becomes an invisible curtain between him and society. And thus, whether night or day, the need for escape is satisfied.
When Stan writes a script, people pay attention. His words spill like poetry.
So, Stan, of all of your overseas assignments, was there a favorite?
Oh, I think sentimentally the favorite trip was the trip to Vietnam in 1987 with the late B.T. Collins, who had almost lost his life in the Delta fighting as a Green Beret in his second tour in Vietnam. And we started in Hanoi, and we drove Highway 1, which was risking our lives at the very least, and got back to the very, very place where B.T. almost bit it, taken there by a now Vietnam Army captain who had been in the Viet Cong, and in fact had led the group that took out the Special Forces group about a week before that B.T. went in to replace. So he knew the spot and took us there.
And that had to be pretty emotional.
Oh, it was incredible.
Yeah.
Overpowering experience.
Well, we have a whole lot more to bring you tonight. Why the name Mr. Sacramento? Find out next as we continue with Stan Atkinson, A Career to Remember.
These are going to be big shoes to fill.
He is really a nice guy, and he's a mentor. He's the man.
You know, I go places and people always have nice things to say about Stan.
Stan Atkinson, A Career to Remember. Brought to our viewers through the generous support of Bank of Lodi, Amy Hardware, Overhead Door of Sacramento, Patterson Travel, and Jackson Rancheria.
Does your bank have you stuck in a rut? Just another nameless, faceless number. But you put up with it because it's just too much trouble to change banks. It's time to switch to a better bank. Better checking with more value. Better, more experienced bankers. Better service at our location or yours. Bank of Lodi. Come by today and see for yourself. Bank of Lodi. Simply a better bank. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Amy Hardware wishes KOVR 13 Stan Atkinson the very best. Good luck, Stan, on your retirement. Everyone at Amy Hardware has enjoyed watching your reports and newscasts throughout your 46 years in news. Your journalistic integrity parallels Amy Hardware's dedication to serving the community. Amy Hardware is a family-owned business that still believes the customer comes first, just as you, Stan, always put the viewers first. Amy Hardware, where service has been a tradition since 1908.
Patterson Travel opened its first Sacramento office in 1957, the year that Stan Atkinson first appeared on Sacramento television. For the past 4 decades, Stan and Patterson Travel American Express have set the standards for excellence in the Central Valley. Stan has delivered the news with professionalism and eloquence, just as Patterson Travel American Express has provided award-winning service to the community. We at Patterson Travel American Express are pleased to congratulate Stan Atkinson on his memorable career in broadcast news. We'll miss you, Stan.
Do you ever lie awake at night, staring at the stars, wondering about garage doors and openers? Who invented them? Who's built and installed more than anyone? And who would you call if you needed one?
Get a life.
The genuine, the original, overhead door. What else do you need to know?
The sky's the limit in our Win Your Dreams contest. Stay and play for your chance to win the vacation of your dreams, the car of your dreams, the cash for your dreams. You dream it, we'll deliver. Call 1-800-822-WINN. It's what you dream that sets us apart.
Congratulations to KOVR 13's own Stan Atkinson for being named the Sacramento Greater Chamber of Commerce Sacramentan of the Year.
That honor is something that we give to someone who, over their lifetime, over a long period of time, has made tremendous contributions to the Sacramento region, and we felt that this year there was no one better to give that award to than Stan Atkinson.
1998, Stan is elected Man of the Year by the Sacramento Chamber of Commerce.
Thank you all so much. I'm truly honored.
Not only has he brought us the news every night for so many, many years, the good news that has cheered us up and the bad news in such a way that he's made it easier for us to hear. But he's also been an important part of raising money for charitable purposes and being an unabashed promoter of Sacramento, everything from helping the chamber out when we're trying to put promotional materials together. I remember a couple of years ago he was a part of an effort to help us recruit an airline to begin international service to Sacramento. So he's just been there, and he's there every time you ask him. There's just never been a time when Stan has said no to the business community, or really to the community as a whole.
As head of the chamber, Rusty Hammer says he'll miss seeing Stan on the news for more reasons than one.
Probably the business or the industry that's going to miss Stan the most is
The paper industry.
We have 30 more minutes of news for you. Next, 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 next.
All kidding aside, the sentiment's always the same when Stan's name is brought up to community leaders. He may be leaving daily newscasts, but those who know Stan say it's a safe bet that he will continue to play an active role in the community.
I'm awfully grateful he's going to stick around. I think there's a lot of work for somebody with the level of caring that he has and his intelligence.
Are we going to see him continuing? Absolutely. To bring in visible, powerful leaders to issues is extremely important because it gives everybody all the way up and down the line inspiration.
Well, I think he set the tone for what an anchor can do in the community. Sometimes his name lended to a program. People recognize that. They have a lot of respect for Stan. His name has value in the community. And from that, I think there is a reward that nonprofits receive, and that is they either get other people attracted to that charity, or they receive some dollars that they otherwise would not have gotten without that.
From fundraising efforts for some of the larger agencies in the area to helping out some of the smaller ones, Stan has been there.
Even though he's retiring, then he's still have his hands actually in the trenches working with the people in the community. And that's, I mean, that speaks for itself, because so many people can say, well, let me send a donation and that's kind of the way it is. And or some people say, well, forget it. I just go in my house and let my garage door down and I'm all right. But now he wants to do it all.
And Stan has been there for these agencies, for people trying to make a difference, showcasing them in a variety of reports here on KOVR 13. Because of Stan, Wayman Logan and the dozens upon dozens of kids he's trying to help have access to airwaves, celebrities, and money.
Please support Dayspring Outreach, an organization that helps children make our community a much better place to live.
They talk about role models and father figures, and they say that I am. Well, then, you know, he's mine. Role model, my father figure, because I know that I always know where I stand with him. And it's not token love. It's real love. It's precious. It's pure love. And that's what I appreciate about him.
In People You Count On segments here on KOVR 13, Stan profiled them all, from Ted Ross putting on a Barry Manilow concert, raising $160,000 for AIDS, to an update on the Vietnam Memorial in Sacramento's Capitol Park, to following a dog who put a smile on people's faces in every hospital room she visited. The theme has always been the same: people helping people. And for this community, that's what Stan has always been about.
My experience with Stan has not just been when he's been on the air, but at various charity events, that he seemed to have cared about some of the same things I cared about when we were here. And I was always so grateful for his support, whether it was for the Stanford Children's Home or a lot of the other wonderful charities here.
I'm sure that we've not seen the last of him or heard the last. He's got too much energy and very good, very decent impulses. So I'm sure that we will see more and hear more, just in a different venue.
He's one of a kind from way back. I'm going to miss Stan's honesty and his compassion and his concern for the truth. That's what I'm going to miss. I don't think there are enough people in the media today who are concerned with finding the truth, and he is. And he's gone to all corners of the world to try to find it. And that's what's going to be sorely missed.
His friends know his priorities, and the community reaps the rewards. Stan's a man who cares, a man who walks the talk.
You've been to so many events over the years. I swear you've been everywhere.
A lot of rubber chicken.
Yeah, but you have. You've been very good to the community.
It's all right here.
And on your ties.
Yes, of course.
And that, you know, we figured it out, and you've probably helped raise at least $6 million for charities in our community over the past 2 decades. And, you know, it just boggles the mind how busy you have always been doing that extra work. Why have you been so involved?
I just have always felt such a bond with this place. You know, I spent 6 wonderful years here in the late 50s and early 60s, and got involved in the community at that time. And I found it extremely rewarding, combination of community and oftentimes culminating in reports on the air, like the work we did at DeWitt State Hospital, snake pit at the time, and making people see, viewers see exactly how terrible the circumstances were for the patients in a California State Mental Hospital. That grew out of my involvement with the local mental health association. So there's always been kind of an interconnect between the work and the community, and I've always felt that, and in a profound way. And I think you know, I've been so lucky here. It's I've always felt obliged and privileged to be able to give back in some way.
Well, it goes both ways. You perhaps have been lucky, but the community has been lucky as well to have you. And your retirement really is a very big deal to the community and our viewers and community leaders, politicians too. And that's why the Sacramento County Board of Supervisors just awarded you this proclamation hailing your community service. So is that part of your life going to go on, your volunteer work as well?
I think so. A lot of people have my phone number.
Uh-oh.
I'm not going to be able to hide.
Right.
I'm the incoming president of the Mercy Foundation. That'll take place next year. I've been on that board for 21 years. It's always been a major involvement of mine. I have a new role with the Rayleigh's Gold Rush golf tournament, the huge senior tournament that occurs every October at Serrano. I'm going to have the privilege of being out front and speaking on behalf of that event and trying to help people understand how much money that single event raises. Last year, almost $800,000 for charities in this area.
And that's just now what you have planned, let alone what's going to come up from other people asking you.
Yes, I've heard the threats out there.
Well, we have to take a quick break right now, but coming up next, from 3 to 13, we're going to have an interview with those other guys.
He's a fixture. He's the Yankee Stadium of, I think, of anchors.
Stan is the conscience of Sacramento television.
He was a colleague, a combatant sometimes, a confidant, and one of the best friends I've ever had.
Imagine TV. Get up, get going, and get away to your California Mercury dealer. Hurry in now for 0.9% APR financing on practically every new Mercury. From Sable, Mountaineer, and Grand Marquis, each with a California package that includes no-charge leather seating and special wheels, to the newly restyled Villager with more room and power. So, for 0.9% APR financing, get up, get going, and get away to your California Mercury dealer now.
Okay, subcompact, over here. Yeah. Bring that little honey right here. Just ease that little baby in. Tons of room. Now give her some gas.
Warning, objects may appear smaller once you've tried our burgers. Denny's Colossal Major League Burgers. Good food and lots of it, starting at $3.99.
Perfect.
My, what big portions we have.
When you see your kids grow, you assume they're growing strong, healthy bones. But maybe they're not. 72% of our kids aren't getting enough calcium during the years when pediatricians say bones grow the most. That's why your kids' favorite cereals from General Mills now provide them with a good source of calcium. Are your kids getting enough? Look for this seal on cereals kids love from General Mills.
Mervyn's California stock-up sale, now through Saturday.
Fellas, my parents were hippies and my real name's Rainbow.
Now that's bold.
Nothing brings out the bold like Bullseye. Bold taste, great barbecue. Bullseye.
The tables are turned. The roles are reversed. It's time for the 99 Honda clearance. You've got the power. Don't you just love it when you win? Now you can get special APR financing for as low as 3.9% APR for 36 months on all 99 Civics.
Welcome back. I remember the day when you started here. Everyone was so impressed that Stan Atkinson was in our newsroom. It was very, very, very funny. Ha ha ha. Now that we know you, we realize, yeah.
Yeah, there was nothing to be impressed about, right?
No. But we were very fortunate to have you with us here as part of our KOVR 13 family. Oh, it worked out really well for us. But also, as many people know, you were a well-known face at KCRA Channel 3 for years. And in fact, that prompted your license plate 3 to 13. Well, guess what? Tonight, we're going from 3 to 13, live from Channel 3 to 13. And Dave and Lois, how are you guys?
Hi, Stan. Hi, Jennifer. How are you?
Hi there. Okay, so it's more rip time for Stanley, right?
There you go.
Yeah.
Back, Stan.
They're both, I want you to know, they're both very good at this, and they've been having great fun at my expense for weeks now.
As they should have. And so, okay, you know that he's retiring. Any parting words?
Well, I just want to say that the parting words here, we took a vote, and we have some plaques for you. We'll have delivered later, Stanley. But in addition to all the awards you're getting, we have honored you as the Grand Poobah of pontificating, the Meister of the media, and the Sultan of sartorial splendor, to add on to your many trophies.
What's the pay?
Yeah, well, we'll negotiate that later. Oh, and Stan, you know, Stan's a pack rat, I think, as everybody may know.
Sure.
You know, he left some pins behind Stan. Your old mirror, I found some old letters you left on the
broke
anchors.
my mirror.
We're still finding your stuff around here, Stan.
Yeah.
You'll have to come over.
Got your initials.
The old tea bags, right?
Yeah, the old tea bags, yeah.
You know what I found odd here is there's a big heart, and it says, SA loves SA.
That's funny. We have one of those here, too.
No, it's an extraordinary event, and I think, personally speaking, yeah, you're the prototype, I think, for a lot of people in the news business. You care about it. You're a fun guy to work with. You're a fun guy to go out to dinner with, because you always pick up the tab, Stanley. Tell me for that.
You know,
I got you last night, though.
I know.
Yeah, that was a first.
What I really want to know, Stan, though, is, I mean, everybody knows that you're an award-winning journalist and a dedicated worker in the community, but they don't probably know that you are a world-class party animal. So we want to know, will that continue as the founder of the Media Madness Media Night?
Yes, the Media Nights, yes, which we all founded, we co-founded.
Well, you're going to keep joining us, aren't you?
Oh, I certainly hope to. I have visitation rights, right, as
absolutely.
As emeritus, right?
Stan is the life of every party. I'm not sure all the viewers understand that about you, but there, it's out.
So is what we can be saying then is that look for Stan at bars around town for you? Is that it?
You guys are doing a lot of good for me tonight.
Yeah,
Thank you very much.
Polishing that image.
Yeah, I want you to know that it was the three of us and another fellow who was an anchor at Channel 10 at the time named Jay Scott, who founded the Midnight Press Club at the Torch Club, and that was circa 19... I don't think you were even married then.
Oh, yeah, 77, 78, somewhere.
Yeah, it was right after you were married.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it goes back a long ways, and I know all the viewers were going to miss you, but I know we'll see you around. If not on the golf course, then at Media Night, Stanley. Good luck to you.
Yeah, happy trails, Stan.
Great pals.
Dave and Lois, thanks so much for joining us tonight. And still ahead, as we celebrate the 46-year career of our anchor, Stan Atkinson, a special tribute that will make this night complete.
Stan has been a great and wonderful asset and a good friend to the people of Sacramento.
When Stan leaves, there's nobody that can fill his void.
I'm looking for pen refills. Can I use travel sizes at home? What do you think? Extra hold?
Have a question?
Hi. Can I drop off my film here?
Ask a neighbor. Just make sure it's the right neighbor. Long's Drugs. Turn to Long's.
The pickup truck, the international symbol of rugged independence. In the Nissan Frontier Crew Cab, a man can go wherever his wandering spirit takes him. He can bring everything he needs, and he can do whatever he darn well pleases. Yes, the Frontier sure says a lot about a man. And his wife, and his 3 little girls. The new Nissan Frontier Crew Cab.
My parents are way into nutrition. They're always making us eat healthy. But when we go to Hometown Buffet, I get what I want. I mean, come on, I'm a kid. I want stuff like chicken or ham or spaghetti. I like mashed potatoes and corn, not healthy stuff.
At Hometown Buffet, you can't help but eat healthy.
Boy, if it wasn't for this place, I'd never get a decent meal.
So many people came in for the original Jeep Factory Authorized Tent event, we've brought it back. So there's still time to lease a Grand Cherokee Laredo for just $299 a month. And now, available only for select buyers with preferred credit, get 0 down with no payments for 6 months on any new Jeep vehicle. There's a great selection to choose from. Just see your California Jeep dealer. Hurry though, when the tent is gone, so are the deals.
Hello? What do I do for a really bad itch?
Where are the big toenail clippers?
Have a question? Ask a neighbor.
Is my prescription ready?
Just make sure it's the right neighbor. Long's Drugs. Turn to Long's.
Welcome back. Stan Atkinson, yes, he may be full of confidence, but he is also a very humble man. He's a man known as a true friend to many, and that's why his presence on television will be missed so much. People are news, and that's why Stan Atkinson has interviewed such a variety of people. His interview with film star Bette Davis was one of a kind.
Now, the greatest screen actress of a generation is no longer an active star.
Entertainer Jerry Lewis became a good friend while the two worked together on the muscular dystrophy telethons.
And we'll be bringing you hour after hour of nonstop entertainment.
Bill Cosby, Bob Hope, presidents and governors. Stan's career has been rich with the gift of people and personalities.
He has great integrity. He has a lot of charm. He's a caring person. He's just a great guy.
The fact that he's lasted 46 years shows you the transformation that this man is capable of.
We're going to miss you, and we wish you the very best in your future endeavors.
I cannot think of a more dominant figure in California television than you.
With all his name recognition, he should run for mayor of Sacramento.
Jerry Brown. That brings us to another personality, a character who blossomed during the Democratic administration of Governor Jerry Brown.
I just looked for people that I thought could do a job. And as a Green Beret, as a very swashbuckling kind of character, if that's the way to say it, B.T. was the right person at that time.
As chief of staff, B.T. Collins was the only Republican working for Governor Brown. He was brash, outspoken, and never seemed to take his new job, his boss, or himself very seriously.
He had an ideology that he used to espouse, kind of a right-wing warrior, but he had a very soft heart, and so there's a lot of bluster there that covered up a very sentimental person.
B.T. became a very good friend of Stan's. To say B.T. was a character, well, that's an understatement. He was, in some cases, bigger than life. B.T. celebrated his 50th birthday against doctor's orders by jumping out of a plane.
I said, oh, not to worry. It's just something I do every 50 years. So you know, I'll do anything for an audience.
As good friends, Stan and BT joined forces on many fronts, but most memorable was their return to Vietnam.
I held the hand of a 18-year-old. And his legs had been guillotine cut by the surgeons. You know, he had lost both of them in a mine thing. And I held his hands while they were doing a dressing change because I knew how painful this was going to be. And I told him to keep looking at me and just to answer every question I had, because I'd been through this before. And just hold on to my hand and just scream at me, but the doctor's got to do what he's got to do. And the last question I asked him was, how old are you? He said, I'm 18. In 1965, he was 12 when I first went. And then I knew this war had been going on a long time.
Side by side, Stan and BT returned to Vietnam, where in 1965, BT had lost an arm and a leg in the war.
I will always remember, I can't believe how this affects me so many years later.
As friends, Stan and BT ventured into the past, revisiting some very painful moments, and at the same time, solidifying a relationship oozing of friendship. B.T. Collins died in 1993 of a heart attack. His laughter, his humor, his sincerity is greatly missed by this community, and especially by his good friend Stanley, as B.T. would call him. At this milestone, at this point in time, the career of Stan Atkinson cannot be remembered without the presence and the memory of the one and only B.T. Collins.
Your good friend.
Shoes that'll never be filled, ever, ever, ever.
And you emceed the funeral at Capitol Park?
In Capitol Park, about 3,000 or 4,000 people in that park on what had begun as a very, very rainy day. And as soon as we started, clouds parted and the sun came out.
No kidding.
BT had that kind of power, and that dais was full of people who spoke nothing but love. Pete Wilson, Jerry Brown, George Dukmajian, and all his pals who spoke. It was, his ceremony just went on and on. It was all day. It was like it was an Irish way for a good Irishman.
Well, he was the type of guy who, once you met him, you never forgot him.
Ever, ever. Nope. Never to be replaced.
Yeah. Well, when we come back, we're going to be going to one of Stan's, well, you heard us talk about it before, his favorite watering holes, so stay with us. We'll be right back.
Everything we ever did, I've memorized, and here it is.
He's a legend in his own time. He has done more for Sacramento than anyone I know.
So many people just assumed that Stan and I were married. And I always said, well, I hadn't been among his many wonderful wives, but we were good friends.
There's a story behind every Ford Oval.
What kind of car do you drive?
99 Ford Mustang.
Rusty, we've got one for you.
Hey, aren't you Rusty?
Wallace, hit it. Hang left. High side, high side. Keep a low. Get some of that turn. 9 and 3, 9 and 3. Hold your line. There's that signal. Atta girl.
The new Ford Mustang moves even faster with 4.9 financing.
Parallel parking? Check.
From your Northern California Ford store.
Once I was lost, and I stopped and asked for directions.
Now that's bold.
Nothing brings out the bold like Bullseye. Bold taste, great barbecue. Bullseye.
Yeah, I got a girlfriend, but around dinner time, my heart belongs to Marie.
Introducing Marie Callender's complete skillet meals.
Marie and I really stir it up.
Marie makes it special, like using tender sliced beef and baby peas in her rich stroganoff. You cook it fresh in minutes.
Do I have it good or what?
Marie Callender's complete skillet meals, fresh from your freezer.
For me, there's only Marie.
These days, everyone's looking for ways to unwind. But sometimes the only thing that works is a good old-fashioned mud bath. Check out the rugged, dependable, relaxing 4Runner at your Toyota dealer today.
Kumbaya, my lord, kumbaya.
What's the matter? Couldn't you sleep?
Did you think I wouldn't find out?
Is this about the ring I gave you? Listen, a cubic zirconia looks just like a real diamond. Is this about my time in prison?
You drank the last of the milk.
Got milk? So many people came in for the original Jeep Factory Authorized Tent event, we've brought it back. So there's still time to lease a Grand Cherokee Laredo for just $299 a month. And now, available only for select buyers with preferred credit, get 0 down with no payments for 6 months on any new Jeep vehicle. There's a great selection to choose from. Just see your California Jeep dealer. Hurry though, when the tent is gone, so are the deals.
Stan's fans, there are a lot of them. We switch now to Dave Bender and John Hank standing by at one of Stan's favorite watering holes. Dave, John?
Yeah, hi guys. And what did we decide to do, Dave? We wanted to find out more about Stan Atkinson, and what better way to do that than to go to one of his favorite places to eat. One of his favorite haunts. And that would be... So many good times here. Yeah. So many friends. Yeah. Have you met Ernie Martini? No. This is Ernie. Hi, Ernie.
Hi, how you doing?
Well, I'm good. How are you?
I'm fine.
Yeah, have you met Dave Bender?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. Hi, how are you? Nice to see you. This is one of Stan's best friends. I can tell by the tie. Yeah. Well, you come here often with Stan, don't you?
Well, I don't know if we call it often, but I certainly spend some time here with him, yes.
Yes, and when you come here, what do you usually have to eat?
It just depends. Sometimes we do appetizers, and sometimes we have a little steak.
Yeah.
And a few cocktails.
Yeah, and then?
And a few glasses of wine.
And then? Yeah,
And a lot of stories.
Yeah, and then do you eat?
And then we have a little bite to eat, and then we tell some more stories and have a few more cocktails.
What do you think is Stan's favorite meal here?
I would have to guess it would be the sturgeon.
No, No.
No?
No, try again. The lamb. No, the lamb. Yeah, the lamb. What do you think is Stan's favorite meal?
I guess it's probably the lamb.
No, it's the sturgeon. Look at this, his own sign above the bar and his own personal bartender named Ryan. Hey, Ryan, what does Stan like to drink?
Usually a glass of wine or some scotch and...
Wow, what is that?
A purple cooter.
Oh. Angela, meet Dave. How are you?
Fine, Dave. How are you?
How long have you worked here, Angela?
I've been here for 3 years now.
And how often does Stan come in here?
He usually comes in about twice a week.
Twice a week, yes. And often after hours, right?
Yes, indeed. After work. Comes in, enjoys a glass of wine.
You kind of keep the place open for Stan once in a while, don't you?
We sure do. We love him here at Mises.
Yes?
We love you, Stan.
Yeah. And through this door is the key to Stan's stomach, which would be the chef. So. Our main course would be
Our beef tenderloin.
sturgeon.
Sturgeon.
Lamb. Look at that, lamb chops. Man, those look good. This is Michael, chef here at Mace's. Tell me, is it lamb chops or sturgeon with Stan?
It's only the lamb chops. It's all he ever orders. That's all he ever has. He's never had anything else that I know of when he comes in here. It's just lamb chops.
And when he comes in here, what's it like?
Yeah, a little bit nervous, making sure we don't mess the food up and get in trouble with
Nervous? What? Hey, Stan's here. Oh, they're scared. Stan, they love you down here. Hey, purple hooters for everybody.
So I've decided that since he's retiring, I'm retiring. I've worked, 10 long, hard years. It's about time, so Dad, get used to it. We're going to play a lot of golf together, and, I'm done.
I'm happy about it.
I think he's happy.
It'll be fun. We'll have more time for family and for travel and all the things he likes to do.
Next, Rosie, Star Wars creator George Lucas.
I am a Star Wars freak.
The final showdown between Rosie, Martha Stewart, and Sally Jesse Raphael. And Matt Lauer. May Rosie be with you. Next, Rosie.
Monday at 4 on KOVR 13.
Fellas, I gotta be honest with you. I ain't a natural blonde.
Now that's bold.
Nothing brings out the bold like Bullseye. Bold taste, great barbecue. Bullseye.
Chevrolet cars are trusted by more Americans than any other. Chevy trucks are the most dependable, longest lasting on the road. If that's not enough reason to own a Chevrolet car or truck, then this definitely is. The Great Summer Drive-In from Chevrolet. You can drive away in a select Chevrolet and get cash back up to $2,000. Or choose APR financing as low as 0% for 36 months. Or check out the offers on other great Chevrolet cars and trucks. It's Chevrolet's Great Summer Drive-In. See your local Chevrolet dealer today.
When you see your kids grow, you assume they're growing strong, healthy bones. But maybe they're not. 72% of our kids aren't getting enough calcium during the years when pediatricians say bones grow the most. That's why your kids' favorite cereals from General Mills now provide them with a good source of calcium. Are your kids getting enough? Look for this seal on cereals kids love from General Mills.
Mervyn's California stock-up sale, now through Saturday.
The pickup truck, the international symbol of rugged independence. In the Nissan Frontier Crew Cab, a man can go wherever his wandering spirit takes him. He can bring everything he needs, and he can do whatever he darn well pleases. Yes, the Frontier sure says a lot about a man. And his wife, and his 3 little girls. The new Nissan Frontier Crew Cab.
Well, to those of us who know and love you, you're like an open book. And I'm talking about the fact that it's very, very obvious how much your family means to you. We want you to meet them right now. His family, his children, they come first in Stan Atkinson's heart. But why not blend one love with another?
I remember when my 2 sons were born. In both instances, I felt like a ninny in the labor room because I had been excluded from any real knowledge or participation in the process of childbirth.
Stan has always put his heart and soul on the line. Even the miraculous and very personal experience of childbirth is shared with his viewers.
See if you can go for a minute this time.
Stan has experienced the miracle of birth 5 times, 5 beautiful children.
It's a boy.
Now a grandfather, he boasts of 10 grandkids. Stan's greatest loss is one of his greatest loves, son Lance. At the age of 34, Lance died suddenly in 1994. Cause of his death has never been determined. Keeping very much in tradition with who Stan is, Lance's memory lives on through the Lance Atkinson Memorial Scholarship Fund, set up to benefit students at Cal State University, Sacramento, the school Lance attended. Stan's very own farewell party just this past May netted $100,000 for the CSUS Business Department. Now that Stan's really packing it up here at KOVR 13, there's no question we're going to miss him. But at the age of 66, having put in 46 years in newsrooms and reporting out in the field, Stan's retreating to the arms of his lovely bride, Kristen.
Promise me that you will leave me never.
Stan and Kristen exchanged rings and vows almost 3 years ago.
I think he's happy. It'll be fun. We'll have more time for family and for travel and all the things he likes to do.
So what's on tap for the future? Travel, seeing more of the good old United States, playing golf, relaxing. Oh, and then there's youngest son Alex, who's been living in New York for years. He's moving back to California. Can you say surprise?
It's kind of a secret. We haven't really told him yet, but I'm going to move in with him, and I'm going to live there, and I'm actually going to start a band up at the same time, use his garage to practice. We're going to do a little, rap music, a little hip-hop, so it's kind of a secret, but when I move out here in December, that's the plan.
Did you know about that?
Not in this lifetime, buddy boy.
Is he really moving back here, though?
He is moving back, and the whole family's very excited about it. He went back to NYU 10 years ago and didn't leave, and made a wonderful mark for himself with a tremendous performance group of young people in New York called City Kids, and has worked his way up from intern to being second in command. We're all very proud of him, but it's time for him to come home. And kid, leave the band behind.
Hang out with the old man for a while. That sounds like fun. Well, stay tuned, because what we've all been waiting for is coming up next. Yes? Oh, yes, I'm going to enjoy this.
I'm leaving.
Oh, no, you're not. Those TV bloopers, those TV moments that Stan would much rather forget.
Stan, you're all right in my book.
Some people may say that Stan maybe gets a little melodramatic or a little philosophical in his reports. The reason I think he does is because he's there and he's touched way down inside.
Stan Atkinson, A Career to Remember. Brought to our viewers through the generous support of Bank of Lodi, Amy Hardware, Overhead Door of Sacramento, Patterson Travel, and Jackson Rancheria.
Does your bank have you stuck in a rut? Just another nameless, faceless number. But you put up with it because it's just too much trouble to change banks. It's time to switch to a better bank. Better checking with more value. Better, more experienced bankers. Better service at our location or yours. Bank of Lodi. Come by today and see for yourself. Bank of Lodi. Simply a better bank. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Do you find yourself spending a lot of free time wondering about garage doors and openers? Who invented them? Who's built and installed more than anyone? And who would you call if you needed one?
Get a life.
The genuine, the original, overhead door. What else do you need to know?
Amy Hardware wishes KOVR 13 Stan Atkinson the very best. Good luck, Stan, on your retirement. Everyone at Amy Hardware has enjoyed watching your reports and newscasts throughout your 46 years in news. Your journalistic integrity parallels Amy Hardware's dedication to serving the community. Amy Hardware is a family-owned business that still believes the customer comes first. Just as you, Stan, always put the viewers first. Amy Hardware, where service has been a tradition since 1908.
Patterson Travel opened its first Sacramento office in 1957, the year that Stan Atkinson first appeared on Sacramento television. For the past 4 decades, Stan and Patterson Travel American Express have set the standards for excellence in the Central Valley. Stan has delivered the news with professionalism and eloquence, just as Patterson Travel American Express has provided award-winning service to the community. We at Patterson Travel American Express are pleased to congratulate Stan Atkinson on his memorable career in broadcast news. We'll miss you, Stan.
The sky's the limit in our Win Your Dreams contest. Stay and play for your chance to win the vacation of your dreams, the car of your dreams, the cash for your dreams. You dream it, we'll deliver. Call 1-800-822-WINN. It's what you dream that sets us apart.
All right, are you ready for this?
Are you kidding? What do you think?
Well, you know, they were painful the first time they hit
listen,
the air.
I have given you a lifetime of them.
Oh, and we
I
enjoyed
worked very
that.
hard at it, too.
Oh, yes, those TV bloopers, those good old mistakes that people don't let us forget. You do know what we're talking about.
I certainly do. I'm a veteran.
Yeah, well, there's a lot of material here, so sit back and enjoy. We've enlisted the support of John Hank and Dave Bender to help us out. Take a look.
Hey, what are you doing? I'm watching some of Stan's career on tape. Check it out.
Especially vulnerable to the health hazard. Excuse me.
Oh.
Sorry, that was a bit of lunch.
Can you believe this stuff?
Oh, I can't believe it. I forgot that stuff got on the air.
This stuff and more. Want to see some?
Yeah.
Let me roll you in.
What is it? 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12.
Year one.
Year one?
Somebody called for makeup?
Yeah, he did. Yeah.
Just in time for Christmas, it's the Stan Atkinson New Millennium Calendar with 12 never-before-seen photos of Stan all greasy and sweaty just for you. He's no girly man. He's Stan the Muscle Man with a special limited-time offer calendar for just $19.95.
I forgot he had so many female partners.
Yeah, whoa.
People are asking, how could a man with such a huge tie collection retire? And where does he think he's going to sport those ties every day?
I've been with a lot of anchormen, and I mean that in only the most professional sense. But you were my favorite. You were also my first, and I learned a lot from you.
Now, your appearance is also very important. What you need to do is check your hair, and I'm also advising that you go with this size mirror right here. Of course, Stan's was full length.
Volunteers recently came to the aid of a baby wolf that you see there and a little baby baboon whose mother refused to nurse it. It's now surviving on human milk. There's that little baboon right there. The surrogate mothers feed, change, care for the animals just as they would for any baby, even one as funny looking as that little baboon.
You know, I remember, and it must have been years ago.
Right.
He was racing Creighton Sanders on trotter horses.
Now, you know, I've seen that video, but I always thought that was just him commuting in the early years.
Here from the news department. Whoa. Do you remember when the Macarena was big?
I wasn't old enough.
Well, come on, Johnny, what about you?
I can't.
I can't? It's easy. Even I can do this, you know? I mean, there's nothing to it.
It's too fast for me.
Huh?
And that's about as hip as Stan gets right there.
That's about it, isn't it?
Have you ever watched yourself walk down the street? I mean, Stan Atkinson struts. The man struts when he's sitting down to read the news. He cocks his head from side to side.
Does your yard look like this? I'm Jody Hernandez, coming up on our News at 5.
You know, looking back at Stan's career, I could see he was a stickler for accuracy.
For the fabulous Johnny Lewis Labor Day, Johnny Lewis.
Try, Jerry.
Jerry?
If it wasn't right, he wasn't going to say it.
And he's going to be in Lodi.
Right. No, Las Vegas.
Las Vegas.
Stan was always a grandfather figure to me.
When your knees buckle and your belt doesn't, it's time to get out of the business.
He wears clip-on ties.
Why is he retiring?
There's nothing wrong with a good clip-on.
How do you retire from doing nothing?
46 years, huh?
Want to see year two?
No!
No! I gotta go.
Me too.
And Bender would want to end it with the music. Those were my two illegitimate children, Dave Bender, John Hank.
That was just hysterical.
Oh, this could have been a 5-hour program.
We were kind.
You were. Thank you, I guess.
Well, coming up next, the final hour, Stan's very last newscast ever. We hope you'll stay tuned.
Hopefully, no bloopers.